Hi guys, I'm Sam
I'm Ryan.
with Launch the Journey. So today we want to talk to you about creating habit and the 5 steps that are going to help you create that habit.
All right, so we're going to start defining what a habit is. So at one point in your life, subconsciously, in the future, you're going to make that decision without even having to think about it. So in your current situation, whatever habits you currently have, you're actually making that decision. You're saying, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to eat healthy, or you choose not to eat healthy. And then as time progresses, subconsciously, whenever your brain trains itself, it forms a habit, and in the future, you're making those decisions without even having to think about it. So that's the definition, basically, of what a habit is. Now, these are some ways that you can start to form new habits. The first step to creating a new good habit is going to be trigger. So, what is like some daily triggers whenever you get up out of bed that you can set yourself up for success for that day?
Well, it depends on what you want. So if let's use exercise for an example. If you've got a weight goal in mind, every day you can have a picture of you either overweight, or if you've been the weight you want to be again, the weight that you want to get back to. And you can have that, you can pin it on a wall when you get up in the morning, it can be by your bed, and you can put it in the bathroom, by a kitchen cupboard, in case, to try and help you not to eat things you shouldn't eat. So if you apply it to that, what are you doing?
Waiting around.
Oh, if you apply it to that, then you still use your end goal as your trigger, but you remind yourself of it every day. Every day you visualize it, which would be step 3 of the 5-step process. So we'll go in order: step 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and the first one would be a trigger. So find out why you want to create a new habit, what your new habit is for, and then set up ways to remind yourself every day of the same trigger, the thing that's made you want to create a habit in the first place. What is it for you? For everybody it's different. What is it for you?
So what motivates you?
And then step 2.
Okay, step 2, you're going to want to reform your mind, reform your thinking.
So if you've been doing something in the past that you don't want to do anymore, you've got to retrain your mind in so much as stop and think before you do it, and then
To replace a bad habit, you have to reform your thinking. So for years you've had this same bad habit, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to make more money, whether you're starting a new business, whatever. So for years you've formed this bad habit, and it's going to take some time. You have to reform your thinking, and you do that by basically using the triggers that we talked about whenever you wake up in the morning, and carrying that throughout the day. So over time you're going to reform your train of thought, and it's going to reform the new habit. Okay, so step 3 is going to be visualize your routine.
And this is a really important one, because if you visualize it, it's going to be easier to achieve it. If you can visualize what you're going to do throughout the day, if you've got a routine set up, write it down even, and plan for things that are not necessarily supposed to happen but may happen, so that if something does come up that you weren't planning for, then you've got that planned in, you can deal with it and you can move on. If something comes up that you weren't planning for and it's not something that you particularly want to do, try and avoid doing it, because if you do something that you're not supposed to do, or that's not going to help you achieve your goal once, you may do it again and again and again, and you're just going to get completely off track. So if you make the plan, you visualize your routine, write it down, follow it, then over time everything's going to fall into place, and you're going to work trigger, and then you're going to make sure that you follow that by retraining your mind, and then you're going to visualize your routine, and you're going to keep working through that. And like every single day it's going to get easier, and it's going to get easier until all of a sudden you don't have to think about it as much anymore. It's just happening, and you're like you're on autopilot, and it's all just coming into place, and you're starting to see results. And
Yeah, so that's visualize the routine. So in the morning time, whenever you wake up, you're going to visualize, or even right before you go to bed, you're going to visualize what you want to do in the morning. That way, whenever the alarm clock goes off, and that's the first thing in your mind, because that's the last thing that you thought of before you went to bed. So you're going to visualize your routine as soon as you wake up in the morning. You're going to have those triggers beside your bed, and that's where you're going to start to reform your thinking over a several day process, several week process, several month process. And then you're going to, step 4, you're going to carry out that visualization. So you got anything to say about carrying out the process?
I kind of like jumped into that, didn't I, on the last one as well,
Yeah,
visualize
it's all
it
right.
and doing
It's
it.
all right.
But
So
yeah,
step 4.
Step 4
Carrying it.
in with visualizing is actually doing it. Just do it. Like, if you said you're going to go for a run in the morning,
This ain't a Nike commercial. Just do it.
alright, just fucking do it. Just get out there and do it. Whatever it is that you've said you're going to do, just do it. It's like, you can't say you're going to do it and not do it. If you don't take action, then nothing's ever going to change. You're always going to get the same as what you've got now. So you need to make sure that the habit is important to you, and that's where your trigger comes in. It really has to mean something to you, and just take action. Implement the things that you've said you're going to implement.
Okay, so that'll cover carrying out the process to starting a new habit. Now, step 5 is going to be, you got to multiply all that stuff we just talked about with time, with consistency. Because if you wake up every day and you start skipping your visualizations of what you want to accomplish that day to actually get to your end goal, you're not going to form that new habit that you want to achieve. So time with consistency.
Yep. Time's everything, right? You start day 1, you finish week 1, month 1, year 1. It's 365 days, and you've achieved so much. And if you've stuck to it and you've done it every day over that year, then the results will be outstanding. And you can do it. Everybody can do it.
Yeah, so that's a 5-step process. So I'm going to go over them real quick. You got to trigger, you got to reform, you got to visualize your routine.
Really important one.
Visualize your routine, and that it's also important, like before you go to bed, to make sure you visualize it. That way, whenever you first wake up in the morning, you're going to know exactly what to do. All right, and then you're going to carry out that visualization process, and then you're going to add time with consistency. So that's the 5 steps to creating a new good habit. And we hope you enjoyed the video. We obviously want them to subscribe, like the video, make a comment so we can interact with you, and
Hit the bell.
hit the bell notification, and we'll see you on the next video.